Hello. Right, let's do this. Hi guys. I'm gonna get a drink. Just on the lemonade tonight. I'll say hello to everybody who's here. We've got Stepz, who is in... Oh, I can hear myself. That's not good. Oh, God damn it. All my sound levels and everything are wrong. Because I'm messing around with this game before we started, so... I'm not very well prepared tonight. So who's here? We've got Stepz, Mads, Andy, Roy. Hi guys. Yeah, so this game's a nightmare. First of all, I didn't realise it was... I'll get rid of that bit, don't need that. I didn't realise it was multi-load. But let's start by showing you if I can even get the game to load. I'll show you what's on the disc. So this is on the disc. So there's one kind of entry file, and then there's these two other files as well. Now, I tried to do it on the NTSC version first. In fact, have I got the NTSC version in here? I don't think I have. No, I haven't at the moment. And the NTSC version just has 2 blocks taken with a loader file and then nothing else. So it's doing some kind of direct read from the disk, which is going to be almost impossible for us to well, not impossible, but difficult for us to mess around with. Too small. Well, this bit, I can't really make this bigger, unfortunately. I can make this bit bigger. Oh, we still got suggestions room. I know they were going to close that down eventually. Right. So, what I did first was try and unpack the intro, which I've managed to do with this file. So this emulator is running in NTSC mode. And I found that I could get the intro working okay. Yeah, have they killed it completely? That's annoying, actually. I'll leave it on the stream chat then for now. But what this file does, and you'll see when I... So this is what we want to add mouse control to, this hand cursor. I was hoping if I did something to this cursor on the intro that it would carry over to the main game, but it doesn't. So I just did a little test before the stream of making this move randomly, and when I loaded up the main game it had fixed again. So there's 2 different routines, one for in here and one for in the main game. Hi Colt, welcome to the stream. I can't hear any of my alerts. I see a raid. Who is it? It's Hayes. Hi Hayes, and hi everyone that's coming on with Hayes. Welcome to the stream, guys. Hi Miss DK. Hi Dom. Welcome, guys. I don't know why I can't hear my alerts, so I'm just gonna have to keep an eye out for those. I think they've updated OBS recently, and it's behaving a lot differently to what it used to. So, yeah. So Gunstar wanted us to look at this game and try and get mouse control into it, because at the moment it only uses keyboard or key control, joystick control. So the annoying thing is it's a multi-load game, and we've not done any multi-load games like this yet. Hi Monica Blair, hi XX Brand or NX. Welcome to the stream, guys. Yeah, that was my Windows one, unfortunately. Hi Pixels at Dawn Gaming. Here he is, here's the man himself, Gunstar. Hey. So this is the PAL version, but it's loaded up through NTSC, and it seems to be running fine. If I try and load the game up, you'll see it should. There we go. So it's asking for this Supremacy file 1. So if I just mount that disk, it will actually load up. Hi Dr. Miz, welcome to the stream. Hi Hitch. Thank you for the host, guys, Dom and Hitch. And this is where the problems begin. So the epilepsy loader is because I was loaded the intro from a PRG file, so I have to mount the disk to get it to load the extra bits in. Let me just put it in warp speed. It will load up eventually. There we go. So this is the PAL version, but it will work from an NTSC. So let me just return to continue. There we go. So it seems to be fine. I don't know what more there is in there. I don't know enough about this game to know whether or not it's gonna work correctly or not. I don't see anything in it that would cause an issue with NTSC. So we'll try and get it working for PAL and see what we can do. Thanks for the hosts, Dr. Miz. This does have a great soundtrack as well, and I'd heard the track actually, but I never knew what game it came from. I think it was in my top 100s on the HSVC SID collection. So when I've had that on and been listening to it, it's cropped up now and again. I recognise the tune, but I've never played the game before. So the first problem is that this cursor has two sets of controls, one for the intro and one for the main game. So even if we fix it in the intro, we still need to do it again for the main game. The second problem is the way that these files work. So if I just close this down and open up the disk again. Where is it? There it is. And drag this file out. So this is the PRG file that it tries to load on the second run after the intro, basically. So straight away it doesn't do anything here, but that's because we need to jump to some weird address somewhere. Where's my disassembler? Actually, I'll show you in the debugger, you'll get a better idea of what's actually happening in here. It's just an absolute nightmare of a game. Okay, so if I do... So you'll see down here, it does some unpacking. So there is some in-game compression that's going on. Yeah, it was draw and tell, yeah. And it does all this, and then the game loads. So I guess with Gunstar here, who's the one who's asked for this, I guess the first thing I'm going to ask is, what is the point of that intro? What is the point of picking that that character at the beginning? Does it change a game in any way? Because if it doesn't, we can probably just work with this file instead and find the intro find the start for this file. Difficulty. Okay, so that sets some kind of setting somewhere which decides how difficult the game is. So really, you do need that intro. Okay. So what I tried to do was, first of all, to extract this file and find an entry point for it. The problem is the entry point for it seems to be here, which is up in kernel ROM. Where is it? So this is going to be quite an exploration, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, it seems to be here, which is right at the beginning of kernel ROM. So in order for this to work, we'd need to unpack and launch from this address as well. So I'm gonna try that just to see what we can do. So let's try unpacking everything from here to the end, and we'll save that out as, I think main was the one I was doing it in. So let's try again in that one. Okay, so. And then I have created this batch file. Can I increase this? Yeah, there we go. I don't think it works from there. Let me just see if it works from that address. Yeah, see, it jams at that address. So let's try setting some memory addresses first. Just move the difficulty. Yeah. I think if I do 35, I think it is, that should say it. And then if I go to this address, no, this is the problem I'm having, is finding the entry point. So let's figure out where the entry point is first. So let's drop this into our disassembler and have a look through. Let's get rid of... How do I get rid of those? There we go, delete. So this is infiltrated disassembler. This allows us to basically disassemble everything in that PRG file that we've just saved out, and then we can use the view to find out where the jump addresses are coming from, and to try and find an entry point. But to give you an idea, I've been looking at this since about 7 o'clock. So I've been looking at this for maybe 2.5 hours before the stream, and I've just been hitting dead end after dead end. It's not been a fun thing at all. So there's some stuff here. Not sure what that is. We'll come back to that in a minute. Normal kind of entry points are usually around here at the beginning of basics. So let's have a look. You see there doesn't seem to be anything standard here. It seems to be some kind of routine that then exits immediately. Sets up well, actually it sets up the high byte of the raster and then exits. So I don't think it's that. I actually think it is at this location here, possibly here, E00B. We can try that in the debugger to see what happens, which did seem to jump to here. So let's load it up again in the Vice. So this was the problem, you see, getting it to even begin running in the right place. No, I'm just getting errors, you see. So when you look at the code running in the debugger, it's cycling around in this area in memory. This seems to be setting this screen up. So this whole section here this section here seems to be setting the screen up and then waiting for you to press one of these buttons. So let's have a look if we can find out where it jumps to that. But I think it jumps to that from the beginning, so from the E00, the beginning of kernel. Yeah, E0BE. So if I go to there, it's jumping to that subroutine after it does all this, and this seems to be setting up sprites, background color. E099, that looks interesting. So anytime we see a set interrupt flag, that's usually a good sign. Which mouse are you implementing? It's the 1351 mouse. So I did some experiments. I'll show you those now, actually. So I did some experiments using the code that is in, I think it's in the programmer's reference guide. Just to make sure I could get this to work, so I have to remember how to turn the mouse on. There we go. So just a sprite on the screen that I can move around with the mouse, and that seems to work fine. And that code is relatively small, 240 bytes or so, less than that actually. So we just need to find a place to put it in and kind of hook into this. And some of it is setting up the sprite and the background color and stuff, so we can get rid of that. So, but yeah, that's working kind of fine with the mouse. So mouse control for Airwolf. I should really set to CSDB. I'm sure if I commit it to a repo, somebody will do it for me. Also, the mouse on the Commodore is really weird. So I'd never done any of the... Oh, and there's the buttons as well, so you can detect left or right mouse. So left mouse, right mouse, both buttons together. Sprite move intro. Yeah. So this was the annoying thing. I did this code yesterday, I think it was, or it might have been the day before, just to make sure that I kind of understood how the mouse worked before we start. I didn't want to be messing around too much on stream with it. So, and then I thought, oh, it's going to be really easy. I didn't realize it was going to be a multi-load game, and that's what's really kind of thrown me a little bit. I only found out this afternoon. Around about lunchtime, I guess, that it was a multi-load game, and that's where the problems began. Save it as Command and Conquer preview. Oh dear. You joke, but it's true. These are the sort of things that will happen. Yeah, okay. So, to go back to what we're trying to figure out, so this is I mean, this is going to have to be a very collaborative effort, because I'm kind of reaching the end of my ideas for this. Let me just get rid of some of these windows. So okay, let's go back to the folder. So basically we need to find a way to replace this file on the disk with our own version of the file, which is easy enough to do. If I run the disk version that I've got, you'll see I've already replaced the intro file. And I haven't replaced the intro file yet, but I have an intro file that I can replace. So this is the original intro, and what I did was I made this clean file from that, which I can then pack using this pack intro. And then I can drop that in there, put it at the beginning like that, get rid of that one, and save it. And now when I run it, that intro shouldn't be there anymore. I think I might need to do a rebuild though, because I don't think that we'll see what happens. Yeah, it does remove packing. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so this was the first thing I noticed, that for some reason, if you try and get Xmizer to unpack and then jump to the start address, it doesn't work unless you press spacebar. Then it jumps straight in. So the first thing I did was knock out the two bytes that were doing the branch based on the spacebar. So when I compile that, and then I grab that from in here, Supremacy, put that in here, pack intro for it, and put this in here, move that up, get rid of that one. Now when I load it, it should jump straight into the game. So Man and Conquer 64, wow, that would have been good. Hi Terence, we just joined to the Commodore. What language is it using? Some kind of assembly. Yeah, it uses 6502 assembly, as Dr. Miz says, same as NES, yeah. Looking Glass Studios, cool. So you can see this is working, and this will load up the game. Because now it's on the D64, it should load correctly. The other thing is the loading between the intro and the main game is really slow. Really, really slow. So I have to use warp to kind of speed it up. So there you go. We're into the game. So we can change things on the disc. So I've changed this on the disc now. I'll rename it so it looks a little bit less stupid. There we go. So we need to do the same with this file. So let's close that down. Let's go to our folder again. So I do have unpack in here. All this is doing, it takes a file. You can't really see that. It takes a file and unpacks it and outputs it as the same file name. However, it will do that and then it will immediately close the window. So I'm just going to write pause on the end of there just so I can see the output. Okay, so let's grab, so this is the file we want to do it on. And it's that one there. So I don't know if you can see that. There you go, you probably can now. So this has unpacked it. Annoyingly, it finds an entry point at 080B and one at 081A. So I'm going to try both of those. Actually, where does it unpack to? Does it unpack? Okay, it unpacks all above the kind of basic RAM and above. So let's try that. This is kind of as far as I got. So. Yep, this is now the unpacked version. Oh, actually that worked. Okay, cool. Interesting. So let's have a look in the debugger and just make sure that's not doing some weird unpacking. It could be that it's unpacking as well. Might need to run it again. So let's put it in here. Let's keep it. Yeah, see, it's still doing some unpacking. And the problem is we need the fully unpacked version. So I'm just going to do it again. Okay, so this has found something different this time. Entry point 081A. Where's the return to memory? I don't see it. I don't see any return to memory in here. However, now it's saving. This is why we saw the screen get all that garbage in, because it's saving over memory. So let's try that again. Did you try the multiple unpacks unpack until error? I didn't know I could do that. I wrote a script to do that for me at one point. So yeah, this is where we were at before, but I think we still need to run it one more time as well. But you see, it doesn't find anything this time. So now we need to find the boot point for it. Which isn't that. This is the nightmare I was having, so let me grab that file again, overwrite. Okay, let's try that. Let's close that, do that. -C, okay. So we want and we want Supremacy file 1 and output. We'll just call it out.prg, should be fine. So entry point is 081A according to this. So to make sure we test this with with memory, like the upper areas of memory, basic RAM and a basic ROM and kernel ROM banked out. I'm gonna just change this pack, and I'm gonna repack this file. So it says it's 081A, so let's try that. And now we've got this packed file, so let's give that a try. Doing something. We probably need to remove that because that is writing something in the corner. That could be an area of memory that's used. Yes, so that's probably used. So let's turn off that in Exomizer, if I remember how to do that. Let's have a look. Custom slow effect. No effect, N, -N. Okay, so because I think that byte being written in the corner, it's jamming on that when it gets to it. Yeah, that's the really good thing about Debugger actually. So when I've been trying these files out, it's been really easy to tell if it is actually doing an unpack routine or not. So I'm gonna have to restart. It also shows you the memory clearing on a restart, which is kind of cool. Okay, still getting a CPU jam, but this could be because our memory here is at 38, so I'm going to try just pausing it and changing that while it's running. So I'm just going to change this to 34. Hang on, I can never remember which one I need. Let me bring the remap. So I want kernel ROM RAM visible here, so it's 35 I need. That immediately that's done weird things. And we've got a CPU jam. So I don't think that's the right address at all. So it's saying this is the entry point, but I don't think it is. Okay, let's just try putting the file in and then using the disassembler to jump to that address. CPU jam. Honestly, it's a nightmare, this game. Thank you for the host, Casrin. Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream, everybody watching over there. Okay, so let's have a go at the debugger again. Let's throw in this out.prg file and see what we get out of the other end. Yeah, let me stick this onto GitHub because you guys can have a play around with it as well. I'll just drop this whole entire folder in and mess around with it. Oh, I'm not even going to put a commit message on. I know it's bad, but okay, so that is on, or it will be on in a few minutes, I guess. Unless I've just cancelled it by doing that. I just cancelled it. No, there it is, okay. So I'm going to have a look through the debug output for this out file. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on in here. But yeah, if you can figure out where the entry point is for this, it'd be great. So the depacker is saying it is here. And it may very well be here, because the other problem we've got is this file may not actually be runnable as it stands. It may need the intro to have run first for this to even work. So actually, let's try that. Let me think about this. Let's just take a copy of this, and I'm going to try it in this copy. So I'm going to open that up in here, and I'm going to replace this file here. So it's Supremacy space file 1. So I'm going to copy this one in. I'm going to rename it. Then I'm going to delete that one and move this one up. I do not have confidence that this is going to work at all, but it's worth a try. So this is our intro loading. Okay, that's fine. So it's this bit we need to know. Is this file going to load? Which it seems to be doing, because it's not doing the flashing thing. And if it does load, is it going to actually begin in the right place? Or has it destroyed something by using that unpack routine? It could be that the pack routine is not going to work for us. Problem is as well, it takes so long to load. Yeah, see, there we go. Got some weird jam going on. So I don't think that's even going to work like that. I wonder what happens if I just put the original code back in place. You see, I think the problem we've got is that what it's trying to do is it's trying to take the difficulty setting from the intro and then merge the main code over the top of it. So any changes we make that include the difficulty is going to basically break the fact that the difficulty is even there. So I don't think this is going to work either, because this is replacing basically all of the memory. Taking a long time to load. So I think in future with these streams I'm going to make sure before I commit to it that it is a single load game, because the pain from this isn't actually understanding the code. I think that will be quite easy. I think the pain from this is coming from the fact that it's multi-load and trying to work out how to replace one of these multi-loaded parts. I'm on Sky tonight. I've not done any more testing of the 5G. I'm trying to get hold of an aerial for it, because it does have aerial ports on the back to extend it, and then I can have an external aerial for it, which should help. I just can't find a decent 5G compatible aerial that fits it at the moment. So yeah, that's not worked at all, has it? Could the C64 do 3D wireframe graphics? Yeah, it could. Elite was on the C64. There was Stunt Car Racer as well. Was 3D. It was actually filled 3D as well. Sentinel, although that was quite slow. Yeah, there was a few games. I mean, it wasn't amazing at it at all by any stretch. I mean, Elite was pretty impressive considering the limitations. The speed that they got that to run at was pretty good. So the problem is this original file has nothing in it which we can really look at. If we look at this in here, you'll see it is just a packed file, or at least I think it's a packed file. I've seen it doing the kind of up and down in the disassembler, but I've never actually looked at it directly just to make sure there isn't any, because if there is, there could just be some code in here that we can edit, but I have a feeling it's not going to be. Yeah, I mean, you can tell from this view up here. So this view shows you light green where there is code, and the code is right at the beginning here, which is the unpacked code, and then the rest is just packed information with very, very little in here. So we definitely need the unpacked version of it. Another solution might be to try and find the packer that's used, and use the same packer. So that might help us. So let me try my unpack routine again. So this uses something called Time Cruncher, version 4.4. I have no idea what that is. Seems like a single load. Ah, yeah. If you have haze, that would be good. Every one I tried had 2 loads, so you can pop it to me on Discord, or just drop a link if you've got a link to the same file. Is it possible to dump from the emulator debugger after it's been depacked? Yes, it is. So that's another thing I tried. So let me load it up in here. I'll show you what I did. But the problem here is, let's do it from the emulator. The problem here is because of the dual load system, we can definitely get into the point where the game has loaded and we're ready to play. Heavy packer. But this bit here selects a difficulty. I don't know why is that not working. Don't know why that's not working. I think there is a button to select another character. Okay, let's have a look at this file. It'd be great if this is a single load. Click view opponent. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So there's 4 difficulties then. So there's 3 and then the one that looks like a big guy. And then when you click it, it begins the loading process. So the problem is we need the data from that to be included. Well, it is included in the main game. Let's have a look at that file that Hayes just sent. So this is... No, see, this is the same. It's got this 01 and this 02 file. Although, what's that? Supremacy. Intrigued as to what that is now. Okay. Yeah, don't know what that is. Yeah, but this looks pretty much the same. Two extra files. Actually, the files are slightly different sizes here, but this could be the compression again. And then this start file as well. So I'm pretty sure if I yeah, let's just... I've got so many of these files in here now. I've got loading. Okay, Super Snapshot's fast loader. I need to re-enable the fast loader in the Super Snapshot cache because the loader vectors were wrong. It would not load. Not load because the normal kernel vector is fast. Yeah, this... maybe this is why I was having problems with the NTSC one. But again, it goes into here, so I'm pretty sure if I detach this disk image now and start the game, yeah, it just goes into a weird crash mode while it's looking for that device. It's an absolute pain. So one option would be to fix it on one difficulty, and then duplicate the fix over to each other difficulty and have 4 separate files that could be loaded in. Would an easy flash CRT help? Oh, an easy flash of this game? Yeah, if you've got it, that would definitely help. Where are you getting all these from? Is that on CSDB? No, I don't have it on there. It's not on CSDB, at least not that I can see anyway. Let me restart Debugger. Let's have a look what's going on with the disk when it loads. Okay. You can see there it loading all the data in. Very slowly as well. It's as fast as I can get it here. So there it does the depack for the intro. Okay, and there we have the intro. Interestingly, you can see the star fields moving around here. I assume these are the stars anyway. There's some kind of array which holds where these stars are. Okay, then I click on Is it actually doing anything? Doesn't seem to be doing anything there. Not seeing anything updating here. It's definitely the right device. Ah, there we go. But you see, it loads from the beginning, and then it loads all the way up. Then it does some kind of pack and readjust. It does it like 3 times. That's the frustrating thing, and I have no idea where that difficulty level is now. But if we wanted to from here, we could save this out. So if we just have a look kind of roughly where the beginning is, there seems to be some code around this area. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, that looks like it is some kind of odd code. There's also code over the screen RAM here. And the entry point was it E099? Yeah, E099. So if I just do E099 on there, it seems to jump back to this location. So let's try that. Let's try saving that out. From 0300 all the way to the end. Call it main 1 again. And in our back main, I'm just going to change that to E099. But I don't think this will work because this is going to try and load and then jump straight to somewhere that's in kernel RAM. So we need to add some extra code in here. So Xmizer has the ability to append code at the end of the function. So custom exit assembler fragment here. So what I can do is I can do like that, and then it will jump to hopefully it will jump to this location. Let's try that. I think I'm going to do a grab bag next week, nice and simple. None of this messing around. See what is going on there? It's like it doesn't want to in here. It's done nothing. Uh, 35. Okay, so it's kind of done something and then crashes. They did use Bresnan lines. I think they also did some clever use of tables as well. I think half the memory is taken up with tables to make some of the calculations quicker. Assume there's no way to compare two almost identical C64 files to find where there are differences between the two. There are some tools out there. So I use a tool called Hex Compare. Which allows you to load up two files and then see the differences in them. But there's loads of things out there that will do this. It's just a diff thing. I mean, you could do it with GitHub if you really want to. Like one file with one difficulty and another with another difficulty. Well, we could find out where it's stored, but it may be storing more than one value as well. The problem is getting something that will even run at the moment. So given this file here, for instance, so this is now loaded into memory. Where is our entry point? It seems to not be where it should be. Let me load the game up again. So not typing. There we go. Yeah, unpacked files. That's the problem. They're using some compression as well. So it seems like the loader is just a standard loader. It doesn't seem to be particularly fast at all. But the way they get around that is by compressing the file, so it's having to load less than the memory it's taking up. I'm not sure that helps, to be honest. Okay, so we are into the game here. I'm going to go in again. I'm going to have a look through memory to see if I can find where this may be being called from. I think one of the most impressive polygon-filled 3D games for me was Stunt Car Racer. Because that was actually... Alright, there wasn't a lot of polygons. The car itself was probably sprites. But the track wasn't... You know, the frame rate wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't high, but it wasn't terrible. It was playable. Very difficult, but playable. Yeah, very good on the Amiga as well. Okay, so it's actually getting to here before it gets down there, so that's one interesting point. So let's follow this back. So E00B, that's where I want to check. So if I jump to that address, everything works fine. Okay, so let's see if that's in memory anywhere, if it's being jumped to from somewhere else. 0BE0, and it's not being jumped to from anywhere else. Brilliant. Which would imply that's the... You need the new debugger that can go back in time. Ah, that's a good point actually. Is that available now? That's available. Maybe that would be the solution here. I mean, it's certainly going to help with entry points for things. That's for sure. It's so frustrating. I've got all that mouse code ready to go. I'm ready to figure out where it's going to, how it's going to work, and I just can't implement it because I cannot get. I mean, I can probably mess around with it in the debugger. You know, we can mess around with this version now, but unless we can, in fact, that's wrong anyway. Something's gone horribly wrong there. Unless we can start the program properly, it's not going to make any difference. It's a keyboard shot that would take us back in time to the creature's dissection stream. There is actually. Where is it? Ta-da! Are there any other cursor-based games missing mouse on the C64? I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'm going to have a quick break and I'm going to have a think about that. I would like to implement that on something. I don't want to waste too much time messing around with it because I don't think it's... I don't think it's kind of constructive to do this on stream. I am going to figure it out somehow, but I'm not going to do it all on stream. I'm going to figure out how we can get it working, and once I figure it out, we'll do a stream based on that. I will not accept defeat. So I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. If anybody actually does have an idea of any other cursor-based games on the C64, we can have a quick look at them. Single loads, please, if you can. I'm going to have a think as well while I'll have a quick smoke. So I'll be right back in 5 minutes, guys, if that. Yeah, Arkanoid 2 does, but I'm not sure Arkanoid 1 does. I couldn't think of anything actually offhand. There's some more smart RPGs that could have been mouse controlled. I need to remember the name. I'm trying to think of some. I can't think of any offhand. But I definitely had some games back in the day that annoyed me that I had to use joystick. I mean, I didn't have a mouse back then, but it just felt wrong playing them because there would be a pointer on there. I'm annoyed I can't get this to work though. It's really frustrating. Just restart that. Why is that not restarting? The last V8. I can't even restart the thing now. Let's start Debugger. Got a great one. Go on, Hayes. Waiting in anticipation now. Yes, Prime Minister. Serious? Let's have a look. Let's have a look on CSDB for it. I can't say I've even played it before, so... Prime Minister... Okay. Seems to be only one file of it, so let's grab that. Let's have a look at it first. Let's see what it's about. Let's put this back into PAL mode. Oh god, stop jamming on me and stuff. Just there we go. Right. I'm going to create a folder in here. I'm going to call it Supremacy. I'm just going to drop all that crap into it. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to keep that as well. The rest can be dropped in there. Kind of expand that. There we go. Hi Sinlao, welcome to the stream. Well, if you think about it, Star Fox runs between 7 and 15 frames per second. Oh, what have you found out? Oh, Stunt Car runs at about 7 frames a second. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty impressive, to be honest. Okay, start game. Are you sure? Yes. It's a damn multi-load game again, no way. Yeah. Multi-loads, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the question is the loader itself where the code is? So we can take a look at that in a second. Is it even loading? Okay. Oh, okay, right. What do you have to do? Oh, I see. Okay. Alright, let's have a look, see if we can do it. So let's start by examining this loader code here. So hopefully this is just straightforward code and actually has the joystick stuff in. Because if it does, we can edit it and then play around with it. So I'm going to load it into the disassembler. Which we've got there. Let's see what we've got in here. I wish you could delete these in one go. It's kind of frustrating having to do this. Save that out in here. Okay, and disassemble. You can see what's going on in here. Because as long as the control code is in this section, we should be all right. But again, it looks like there's no actual code. There's just some kind of unpack routine. Oh, there is an unpack routine because because it has the intro. So let's do an unpack of it. So we do unpack 64-L-V-C. We'll output to out.prg, and the input file is ypm loader. There we go. So it says it can't find the entry point, but it has an entry point here. So we've got two locations to try. So let's give that a shot in here first. Right, there we go. So let's start with 0812. So that is 2066. That didn't work. Okay, let's try 1340. Oops. Which is 4928. Oh, helps to actually. Okay, no. Okay, let's drop that into the disassembler then. See if we can see what's going on. Do you want me to put the border back? Just for you, I'll put it back. Let's have a look. Video settings. Where is it? Big 2 settings. There we go. There we go. Normal borders. Okay, so we've grabbed that now. Let's do a disassemble. As soon as I looked at Supremacy at lunchtime today, I thought, shit, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. And I regretted agreeing to it before actually investigating it. But lesson learned. Okay, so this looks a little bit better. We've got blocks of code all over the show here. So let's go to the first area down here. See if we can find the entry point. So it said 0812, that's definitely not an entry point. You can see here it's doing some random stuff, and none of that is actually the start of any block of code. So the thing we're kind of looking for is set interrupt enable flag, because that's usually a good indication that there's an entry point for a program, because one of the first things you always do in these programs is turn the interrupts off, then set up your interrupts. Not seeing anything that's looking like code yet. What was the other location? 1340. Ah, there we go. 1340 does look correct actually. So let's do that again without running anything else first. What was 1340? It was 4928. Okay, so we've still got an intro here. And then there's still an unpack routine. Okay, so what we can do, we can just save out all that memory. In fact, if I just save a snapshot, do it that way. And then I can load the snapshot in through here. Okay, so now the memory map is looking quite different. We do have some code down here, but this is all 20s. This, I'm not sure what is going on here. This could be the unpack routine. Looking at this, this is all just space on the screen. Yeah, I think this is the unpack routine. 0812, this looks interesting, could be our entry point. It's not though, there's loads of zeros there, so let's have a look for the next block of code. There's something up here. Again, nothing looking too much like an entry point. It's all the same values. Okay, let's go and have a look. Let's just jump into the middle of that somewhere. Yeah, that's not code. Ah, there we go, 8400. So let's save that out. So if we save from 0801, it's FFF, like so. Export. Save that as YPM. So it should have been YPM.prg. Rename. Oh, damn it. There we go. YPM.prg at 8400. So that's 33792 or something. Let me check that. Oops. 33792. Yeah, okay. Hey, there we go. We have something. It didn't jump to the start screen though, so I want to see if there is if that jumps to from anywhere. So let's have a look. This is actually jumped to from these locations. So 8247. Let's go and check that. Does seem to have some kind of setup here, and some jump routines, some border color sets. So that's 8200. Let's try that. $33280. Okay. Let's do a soft reset. $33280. There we go. Oh, raid. Smilebringer. Thank you for the raid, Smilebringer. Welcome to the stream, and welcome everybody that's come on with Smilebringer. We've currently moved on to another game to see if we can implement. The Smileys are here to bring smiles and cheer. Hi guys. We're trying to get mouse control into a Commodore 64 game from, it's 1987, I think it said on this. Let me check. Yeah, 1987 apparently. after failing to manage it in another game. So I'm just going to copy some of this code and let's open this up in here. So let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. So the output file is going to be what was it? YPM loader, which is this file here, which is what we want to replace. We'll get rid of that. And the input file is YPM. Don't need that. And our jump position was 8200. It never seems to run these straight away for some reason. I have to drop them manually in. Cool, there we go. So we have got something that loads, and then at this point it's going to ask for the disk and tell us to press fire, and it's just going to hang because we don't have the disk in place. Drive not ready. Okay. But now what we can do is we can check that code to see if it has the joystick control in. Yeah, it'd be even better if the original game that we'd planned to do tonight worked, but unfortunately it didn't. So this game has a cursor in it that really would benefit from being controlled by a mouse, but it doesn't have mouse control in the game. So we're going to look and see if we can add mouse control to it. So I'm going to have a look through the code now to see if we can find some joystick controls, and if we can, I'm going to do some changes, and then we'll drop it back into the original disk and see if we can get some kind of new control in place. So first thing to do is look through the memory for this location, which is being used in a couple of places here. I can see that the memory is on... Oh, a CPU jam has occurred. Why has a CPU jam occurred? Okay. I'm assuming this memory is going to get filled up at some point, but it looks like these are just vector routines at the moment, kernel routines at the moment. So I'm going to assume it's these routines here, 9B94. So let's go and have a look there. Okay, so we're getting... This looks like keyboard control, because it's taking these two values. And then nothing in terms of joystick. Although this looks interesting, it could be using joystick 1. But I'm not seeing any AND values nearby. Oh, there's one there, but that's a fire button. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to load the game up. Tune quality gone to shit for anyone else. Oh, really? Not sure what that's going on there. Sky screwed me over. I've got no skipped frames, let me check. Yeah, no skip frames. Yeah, the stream quality is 648p. I don't know why it's that. I need to change that at some point. I'm hoping to move over to much faster internet in the next stream, so I think it's the memory map updates. Oh, these causing problems. Okay, well let's close that down because I want to just check. It shouldn't be that though. I mean, my computer is definitely more than enough to do this streaming. Let's load this game up properly. So let's put the original in here. I'm going to make a copy of that so I don't lose the original. So what I want to see is if the code is different when we're in the game. So I'm going to have a look through memory. I probably should have done this in the debugger because it'd be easy. Yeah, I'll do it in the debugger. It'll be easier for you guys to see. Let me just check my internet has not switched over. No, it's still on the Sky. So we'll let this load up and then we'll see. So I want to see if I want to check in the memory to find out where the joystick code is controlled, and then just make sure that that's not being loaded at runtime by the day loader thing that we saw. So how do I? There we go. Start game. Yes. Let's fire. So this just seems to be loading into this area here. I have a 1 pixel face. You notice it only loaded into this area here. And this seems to be only affecting code up here, so I think it is part of the main loader. So let's have a look again. The 9B is still in this area, but we've also got something at 68EE, so let's go and check that area out. No, that's just data of some kind. And this hasn't changed, so this is the right code. So let's work on the code here, just to see if we can affect the outcome here. And then if we can, I'm assuming it's this bit here. If we can affect it, then we can do it in the main piece of code at the beginning. We just need to work out where the values are that store the position of this. So somewhere there'll be a position that's been updated for these, and it'll be based on the joystick. We want to just change it to be based on. Actually, is that going to work? Yeah, I guess it should work. Well, we'll see. Okay, so this is let's make this a bit bigger so you can see it. So this looks like it's taking both joysticks. Why it would be taking both joysticks, I don't know. That's what made me think it was keyboard. And then there's a branch to 9BCF, which is down here. Uh, 9BDE. F1, branch equal, transfer to the accumulator. 3D and 3E. So let's go and have a look at those memory addresses. 3D, so this one and this one here, which do indeed seem to change as I move. It just seems to be 3E though. And this is, yes, this is the joystick. So the joystick works by having the bits turned on if you're not moving and off if you are. Up is 1, so as I move up, the first bit of this removes and it becomes 1E, 1D when I go down, because that's 2, so I would expect if I go left this would be 1B, yep, and if I go right this would be 1-7, which is correct, and if I press fire it should be 0F, which is not, as fire is affecting this one up here instead. But we have a location now that's working out directions, so how should you link the scroller to the mouse for smoother scrolling? Yes, I think we might need to do something like that to make it work. Well, I think we should get the mouse working first and then see if it automatically does edge scrolling. I think it might, if we're lucky. Can I fix Brexit while I'm in the debugger? That's absolutely fucked. I'm sorry. There's no way of fixing that. It's knackered. Absolutely knackered. I wish I could see my alerts properly, but I can't. So I'm sorry if I've missed anybody doing anything. I can't hear my alerts or see them for some reason. I think my latest OBS update has screwed things up. Might also be why the stream's being funny. Okay, so let's see where this is being updated from. So we know it's being stored at this location, but we need to know where it's being read from. So let's have a look for loading that value from memory. So we're going to bring up my opcode matrix again. So we want the 0-page commands for these, so A5, A6, so A4, A5, A6. So let's start with A4, we're looking for 3E. A5, 3E, okay, it's probably going to be that one then. Yeah, I think it's going to be that one. I think this 9BD6, oh that's where it's loading there. So let's check these locations, let's go from the start. Okay, so this is checking if the fire button is pressed. If the fire button is pressed, it jumps to here. So this is actually waiting for you to release the fire button. So if I press the fire button, everything should stop, I think, unless that's done on an IRQ, which it looks like it is actually. Oh, no, yeah, go. It stops until I let go. That's what this is doing here. There doesn't seem to be anything else in here related to that 3E, so let's go to the next place. So this is checking to see and 0F, compare 0F. So if nothing has happened, then it jumps to, so if no directions have been pressed, it comes to this location. Otherwise, based on the directions B7DE, it jumps to different locations. So I'm going to write these locations down. So we can work out where this is being added. So 0B was, let's work that one out again. 0B is left. The left is 983D. 7 is right. Yep. 978. 9888. I don't know why it's skipping over this bit. Oh, okay. If, oh, sorry, 9888. It's and then we've got D, which is down. Yep, it's 981E. And then up is 97FF. So let's go and have a look at that code, which is here. So this takes the position of the sprite, compares it with 2C, which I'm guessing is top of the screen because we're moving up. So this is just affecting the sprite directly. There's no intermediary value that it's setting. Let's go and have a look at 983D. Oops. Yep, again, it's just affecting the sprite directly. So what we can do, we can intercept this and add our own mouse code in. The first thing to do is find a nice blank space. This looks pretty interesting. Loads of zeros here. I don't know if any of this is used by the other days though, unfortunately. This was where the day code loaded in from here all the way up to here, so I'm imagining this is reserved for days that are loaded in, so we're probably better off storing it up here somewhere. We just need to find a nice area that doesn't have any code in it. This is in IO RAM, so that's no good. Check this area here. Okay, there's a lot of blank zeros here. That goes from E5. Oops. E500. Although it is being read, you can see the blue marks on there means it has been read at some point. So I'm just going to move around and see. It's not being used at the moment. Okay, let's have a go. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to stick some code in here, and we need to call it from somewhere as well. So in our joystick routine, which was, where was it again? 9.8 something. So we had a routine which was jump into these. Here we go. Load accumulate 3 97C5. Okay, so we're gonna take this location and we're gonna do some editing. So 97C5, and the original code was load accumulator 3E and 0F, and we'll return from there. Okay, so this code now, if I was to compile it, let's do it. Let's compile and get it into the game and test it. It's that one, is it? I need to... no. Which one is it just compiled? Oh no, it's in here, that's right. This one, okay. Let's try taking our disk and just replacing the YPM loader with our own. So we're not going to compress it, we're just going to drop it in. Not enough space on disk. Okay, we do have to compress it in that case. Okay, I'm going to steal the compression from here. So this file basically is going to take our code, compress it and output it with the same file name, and with an entry for basic. We're going to get rid of the effect that runs, so it just will kind of be a silent decompress. There we go. And now try and drop that in. Not enough space on disk. Brilliant. Oh, it looks like that's not even compressed it. Okay, let's try it manually. So it's Exomizer, self-extract, use basic as our entry point. Our output file can be YPM loader. .prg. Our input file is ypm. So, let's see what it's actually doing here. Generate an output file. And for some reason, that output file does not look smaller. It looks the same size. IU256 out of range. Up A9. Okay, let's try with a different output file. This doesn't seem to actually be doing anything. Unless that time is just wrong on there. That wouldn't make any sense. Generate an output file. Just to make sure, I'm just going to call it out2. I have a funny feeling this is not actually outputting correctly. Or maybe I need to include the include the intro first, the input first. Oh god, things do not want to work for me today. What is going on? Why is that not encoding? So hang on, am I doing that right? So Xamizer SFX. Start end in jump address in file. Out file. What am I doing wrong here? User given encoding, don't write encoding to the out file, sets the maximum sequence offset, number of passes. Oh, none of these look like it should be giving me any issues. Let's try it without that. Let's see what happens. I'm saying this is out of range, but I'm not sure what it means by that. Let's have a look at what the basic instruction is. We can just replace it. So 8200. So instead of using basic to launch it, we can just use might have to use a different cruncher if this isn't working. Ah, there we go. There we go, out 2, so 17 kilobytes now. I don't know why that wasn't working the first time, but apparently it didn't like that thing. So let's drop out 2 in there, let's move that up there, and save. So this should work exactly as it did before, but now we've got a hook into the code, so we can start replacing it. So let's load that up. The emulator, speed it up. And press fire, yep. Very slow. There we go, right, so this is still working. So let's just go and check that our new code is in place. It is indeed. So we can start to add a mouse routine now. So I'm just going to change this pack file to actually pack correctly. So we're not going to use basic pack, we're going to do that. Whatever we put in will output the same. Okay, there we go. So I'm assuming this game only has one button, the fire button. In which case, from my mouse tests, that is just the fire button. Mouse 2 is actually joystick up, which is strange, but okay. So let's have a look at the mouse code now and see what we can, how we can make this work. So let me grab the mouse code from here, just load it in. So basically, what we need to do is we need to use these values and this chunk of code. Now this code is basically copied from the programmer's reference guide. What it's doing is it's taking the mouse value. Now the mouse value only returns 6 bits. So the first bit is irrelevant. Then you get 6 bits, which are your mouse delta. It's not in a mouse position, it's just delta. And then you get a final bit, which is also useless. You have to discard it because it jitters. So sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 1. If you start using that, then your mouse will shake around all over the place. So I think what this code does is it checks to see if it's moving left or right, and it returns a delta. So you give it. I do have a input and output. There we go. I'll copy this in as well so we can see it. So you pass in the analog value from the pot and the current value. So you pass in the old value and the current value, and it returns you the value to put into the store as the old value and a new position. Sorry, new delta for the position, which can be up to 320 or so. All we need to do is we need to move that sprite around based on that. So one thing we do need to quickly check is which... Oh, it's sprite 1, isn't it? So, okay, we know it's sprite 1, so... let me just have a look at the code again. So all I was doing was taking PX and PY, which was our screen position, so our current position on the screen, and then adding it based on these values. Let me just double check what's going on here. This was the fire buttons. This was the initial code. Yeah, it's this bit here. Okay. But let me explain what's going on here as we do it. So let's just do the X first and get rid of this. So we load in the old position, the old delta of the mouse, whatever the old kind of setting for the mouse was, and then we load in the new pot value, so the analog value basically, old and new. So the one we've got stored and the one that's being currently old. Then we jump to this subroutine, and that returns us a new value to store in the old position, so this one here, and then a delta value to add to our position. Do I play with FPGAs at all? No, not really. I mean, I've got FPGAs, but I don't really program them, so I just have stuff that's pre-programmed, like the Turbo Chameleon. So yeah. So here we need to just add our sprite X position and store the sprite X position. And the X register will be... this will be 0 or 1. So that we need to take this value basically, D010. I'm going to leave that in the X register for now. We need to take this value. We want just the first bit of it, so I'm going to do it with binary. This will give us the 9th bit. And then at this point, we need to add whatever's in the accumulator. So actually, I'm going to think about this. Need to add what's in the X here. So is that right? Because it would be, yeah, that is right actually. So I'm going to store X. I'm just going to call it temp, and then I'm going to add temp. And then I need to AND again, because if we do minus, you need to make sure it wraps around. I'm going to put temp down here. It's always the tricky one, dealing with this MSB. Always the nightmare scenario. Let's think about this. Yeah, I need to deal with this like it's a ninth bit. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this value and it 1 and store that in temp instead. So like so. Okay. Then transfer X to the accumulator, add temp, and again we'll AND it with that value. So we don't want to affect any of the sprites, store that in temp. I feel like this is convoluted. I'm sure I could do this in a better way, but for now I just want to get it working. Now I want to take the inverse. Like so, there we go. That's probably more complicated than it needs to be, but it's fine. And we can get rid of this stuff. Then we're going to do the same for the Y, but the Y will be really simple. Don't need to do any of this, but we do need to do this, basically. And then we'll return. So we do affect the Y and we do affect the X. So before we actually do anything, I'm going to transfer X to the accumulator, push that onto the stack, transfer Y to the accumulator, push that onto the stack. And then before we do this bit and return back to our code, just in case the Y is being used somewhere else. Cool, right. So let's give that a compile. I need to close this for. Okay, go into here, grab that, paste it into here, and pack intro. Then go into our file in here. And drop it in. Oh, we need to delete the other one first. And then drop it in. Up to the top. Give that a save. Right. Now, the question is, does this work or not? So I just quickly want to remind myself what the button is for enabling mouse. I think it's Alt Q. Weirdly. Yeah, it's Alt Q. Okay. What have I missed in here? Add table, commerce table, DB, one. Yeah. It's gonna work the same way, I think. So we'll soon find out. Hi Esdon, welcome to the stream. So being really slow. There we go. Oh, there we go. I have mouse control. It doesn't do anything when I go to the edges, so we need to work out where that code is. And the Y seems to be inverted. But we do have mouse control. I need to reverse the Y to subtract rather than add the delta. And we need to work out how to move the mouse when it gets to the edges, so... it actually breaks completely because now the joystick doesn't work properly. Oh, it does up and down, okay. Oh, it's because I'm on... there we go, right. It doesn't work on the left and the right. But we do have some kind of mouse control, so... let's reverse the Y now. So to do that we need to... how can we do this? There's two ways we can do this actually. I'm gonna be sneaky. I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm just gonna invert the value. That will do the same thing, right? So let's give that a compile and let's go and have a look and see if we can find out where this edge movement stuff is. See, if you were doing this as a kind of development project, then you would definitely set this up to be part of your build process. So you wouldn't have to keep doing this all the time. Oh, what happened there? My mouse completely locked up then. Well, that was interesting. Oh, my mouse is still back to front. Why is that back to front? Okay, so there is some kind of control which is locking this to the edges when we... It's actually not working up and down now, it's only working... sorry, it's not working left and right, it's only working up and down. I can click on things, so I don't need to implement mouse control, that's fine. Okay, why is that not working left and right? Sorry, up and down. Okay, it's fine. What we can do, we'll just do it this way instead. We'll store it there. Let's do the inverse instead. So we take the compiled file out of there, we drop it into here, we drop it on our batch file which will then pack it. I don't think I added it to here, I think that was the problem. We add it in there and save it. Turn the mouse control off, put the new disk in. So, I mean, it's still fairly fast. I mean, it's not like some modern things where you have to wait hours and hours. If I got a list of joystick pointer games, it'd be great to make them all mouse. Yeah, it would be good, actually. I definitely... It's fun to do this. Yeah, so that's working now. So all we need to do now is work out where the edge movements are and make them work. There's a weird kind of shadow as we move it around. I don't know if it's... Or maybe it's because I'm in warp speed. Yeah, I think that's all it is. So there must be something which is detecting the edges. So we can have a look at that in a minute. I'm gonna go and grab a quick smoke for 2 minutes. Then when I come back, we'll go and investigate that joystick code. I suspect that the limits that were in that joystick code are the screen edge kind of movements, and we can utilize those. So, but But yeah, we've got a mouse working in it now, which is kind of cool. I might actually play this game if I get mouse working in it. It looks relatively interesting, I guess. Right, I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. Be right back. Cool, right. I think I know where this code is going to be, so let's go and open the debugger. Yeah, they made a laptop as well at one point. I'd like to get hold of one of them. I mean, it's just going to be a PC, but I just like the fact it's got the Commodore name on it. It's kind of cool. We can load in our loader file, that's fine. So we made a note of where the code was, so 9800 roughly, whoops. And there were some boundary checks. See here it's checking a few values, so EC, which would be the bottom of the screen here, AC, which would be a bit higher, and then I'm not sure what this value is here, but these two are checking, seem to be screen edges. So let's try and do the up and down first. There's also these boundary checks here, compare 2C and 70. So 70 would be somewhere in the middle of the screen here. 2C would be the very top. And they're also jumping to 97E0, which looks like that's going to be our boundary check. So let's do the up first. So let's compare our value with 2C. So I'll keep this code open in this window so we can see. And let's just deal with the up direction first. So let me just mark this as down. Sorry, horizontal. And that needs to stay at the end. You just need to keep an eye on how long this code is as well. We don't want it to extend too far. Let's just actually go and check how much room we do have there. Well, it looks like quite a bit actually, so I think we'll be alright. Are we on an emulator? Yeah, we're using Vice and we're using the C64 debugger for this. Oh, thank you for the resub, Hayes, as well. I didn't see that. Thank you very much. Appreciated. Okay, so we've got this value. We're going to do this exactly the same check that we do here. So we're gonna obviously we're gonna compare not the X register because we've got it in the accumulator, and if it's equal, it comes to this location here, and this seems to load some kind of value up. And then does an exit at this point. We could just jump to this location, jump to a subroutine at this location. It looks like it's never getting out of this area. So let's have a look. 970A, 9782. There is a jump to 9782. Which also has an RTS. Okay, so I think it's safe to jump to that location as a subroutine. So we'll check. This is saying if it's equal, so we'll check. Because we're using mouse, it's not going to be necessarily equal, it could be less as well. So we'll check if it's less than or equal. So we'll add 1 to it, and we'll use branch it carry set to skip over this section. Otherwise we will jump to a subroutine at, what was it again, I've lost where it is now, 97E0. 97E0. So let's give that a try. See what happens. I'll go through this horrible process again. Take the original file, the rebuilt file, sorry. Back it. Delete the old one from in here. Pop the new one in. So, save it. Hopefully it starts us somewhere a little down the screen so we can scroll up. Drive not ready. Why is the drive not ready? Did I drop the right file in? I don't think I did. I dropped the disk in, not the RG. To load, there we go. Right, so I'm hoping now if I move up, no, I'm still not hitting any edges here. Let's go and have a look. I'm going to put a breakpoint in there just to see if we actually get to that. So it's hitting that piece of code, but it doesn't seem to actually be doing anything when it does, so oops. Okay, so that's probably not the code that's moving. Or are we at the top there? Maybe we're already at the top, so yeah, we're already at the top. Okay, so I need to do the down movement. Okay, so let's bring out this again. Let's have a look. So there is another comparison here, which compares to 70. If it's not equal, it jumps to here. Although I think it's that one. Compare X to EC. If it's equal to that, then it also jumps. Let's try that. Let's do another comparison. Same thing again. But this time we're going to check if we are less than that value. We'll go to that. Unfortunately, it's broken the joystick control doing this. So it kind of needs to work for both, and at the moment it seems to have broken the joystick control as well. But we can solve that problem in a minute. Let's just get this going. What time are we on? I've got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Build. Open our disk up. Delete this entry. A new entry in. Save. And then load that into the emulator. Quite a convoluted start process. You'd think if you press start game, you really do mean start game. I don't know why it needs to ask you if you're sure. If I turn the joystick control off, sorry, mouse control off, and just use joystick, yeah, see, it's broken it completely. Oh, actually, the up and down does work. Not when I'm using this. It's like it needs that extra. No, when it's using mouse, it's completely broken. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. I mean, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's doing something else. Be interesting if we can find out where that edge is. This does definitely seem to be... Oh, hang on. Increase X, increase X. If it is equal, then it kind of increases that value for some reason. 9747. It's not equal, it goes here. Otherwise it does this. $9747. What's that? Let's have a look. Ah, okay, this seems to be scrolling of some kind. Thank you for the follow, Smellbringer. It's an accumulation, I believe, between joystick position and the first subtract edge. If we can work out when it's hitting, well, what it's doing when it hits that edge, which I think is this 9747 here. Although this isn't going to work, is it? Let me try and mount the disc in here. Oh, it is mounted. Okay. There we go. Let this load up and see what happens. Although, is this gonna this is probably gonna load with mouse control. Okay, let's try just moving around with the mouse and see what happens. So as I went to the bottom, it hit this. So this could be our down. I go down again, yeah, this is our down, 9747, so let's see where that's being called from, so we can find out the boundary. It was here, CF, okay, let's, 9747. Let's have a look what it's actually doing here. So it does a load of stuff, then jumps to 978C, which is here, which does some stuff and then exits. Okay, so if we set this to CF, set this to, what was it again? I forgot the value now. 9747. Let's do compile again. This is painfully slow to do. Turn that off. Compared to some of the builds I've had to do in the past, this isn't the slowest thing in the world. I remember some old Flash builds would take ages to build. Okay. There we go, we've got edge movement. So now we just need to do the other directions as well, so we need to figure out where the up side of this is. So 9747 is our down. That's not affected if we move up, only if we go down. So Let's have a look if we can find the one that moves it up. So this is subtracting 4. Let's have a look. So 9747 jump was here. There is this jump here, which is 9766. Let's try that. Let's have a look. So 9766 is this one here. That's definitely been hit. And our sprite is at what location? 112. So it's actually quite kind of high up the screen. Far down the screen, sorry. 9766. So let's do. I'm not convinced that is the right place to do that, but apparently it is. That's been jumped to from here. There we go. Compare X with 70. If it's not so, 70 is the value we need to put in here. Let's try that, and then we'll do the same for the left and right as well. To make sure this is correct. If this is correct this time, I'll do the left and right in one go rather than do it one at a time and test it, because this is kind of painful to test like this. So color D64. Add only load back in again. Save that. Yes, fire. I'll turn that off. Okay, there is a bit of wrapping as we go off the top of the screen. We can fix that in a minute. Let's get the left and right working. I'm guessing it'll be the same here. Yeah, okay. You can actually make the mouse go all the way around, so we just need to lock it when it gets down to a certain position to stop it going any further. This is looking pretty good, so we just need to get the left and right in now. So knowing what we know about these routines that seem to happen, I'm guessing there's going to be something similar. So we've got D001, which is our sprite Y position, D001, which is our sprite Y position. So we're looking for D00, which is here. And then we're looking for some kind of jump, some comparisons. So what does it do? It compares like two values, and then it loads 9A67, whatever that is, which looks like this one here, 9A65. I'm going to say 9709 is one of them, so let's go and put a breakpoint in 9709. Which is D016, which is indeed horizontal scroll. So is that left or is that right? That's left, okay. So that's being called from down here. Where was it? 9709. And that value that it's checking against is 52. So okay, so we'll check. So we're going left, so we can check this value first of all. If it's not set, sorry, if it is set, then we can skip over this. We're not going left. Otherwise, we can check if we're going left. So now we check this location. We compare that to, what was it? 52. If it's more than 52, then we also skip, otherwise we can jump to 9709. Cool. Right, now we need to do the opposite check here, so I'm just going to copy this block. I'm going to put the most significant bit in here again. This time, if this bit is not set, then we can't possibly be over that side of the screen, so we don't do anything. And we check, well, we need to find what we check. So there's a jump here. I'm guessing there's going to be another one down here. Let's go and have a look at this code again. So it loads that value in twice, so it's for another D00 around here. There's one. And we were looking for 2 comparisons, which is 1, 2, then there's a load, and then it starts moving. 9728 looks like the one. Let's go and put a location in there, 9728, which again indeed loads that. Oh, did that stop then? Yeah, it did. Okay, 9728. Okay. Where's our jump gone? So you can see it is loading in the MSB here. And it compares. It looks like 4F, but that seems like a. Oh no, it's not 4F, it's 01. So we need to check if we're more than 01 and then go to 9728. Okay, so if we're less than that, don't do anything, otherwise go to 9728. Whew, I think that should be it. And then the next job is to lock the cursor and stop it going off the edges of the screen, which we can do as part of that part of the detection of the screen edges as well. Okay, let's take that. Where's it gone? There it is. Yeah, I probably am good star. I'm kind of frustrated that I couldn't get that to work. I want to figure out how to. I might even turn it into a cartridge version. To be honest, that would solve all the problems. And that'd be nice, right? To have a cartridge release of that game, I guess. So let's turn that off. Oh, so we've got a CPU jam. Okay, let's have a look why we're getting a CPU jam there. Oh, it's because I've used decimal addresses and not hexadecimal addresses. Unlike here where I was using it. Okay, so fine. This happens more than I'd like to admit, to be honest. But yeah, I do fancy having a mess around with Overlord a little bit more. I think a cartridge version would be really good. CPU jam is an invalid opcode here. It just means that the processor's got something it doesn't know how to process, and it just causes a jam on the processor because unless it can actually run a command, it doesn't know where to advance the program counter to, and so it just locks the machine up, causes a crash. Let's save that. I think I loaded that in then. I'll soon find out. Is that going to load? There we go. Doesn't seem to be able to do... Oh yeah, it does do diagonals. Cool, okay. Oh, it really can't handle scrolling, can it? This game was... Oh, that's interesting. What? Okay, I've hit some kind of bug where I can see... Okay. Well, let's start by putting some blocks in here so we can't move the mouse too far. I think there's obviously some kind of hard edge here that we need to be dealing with, and we're not. We can look at what's doing that in a minute. I'm pretty sure if I turn... Oh, it's actually working. Although it's still the same. It's weird how the up and down works properly, but the left and right doesn't with the... Okay, so let's clamp that cursor. So we will check, as well as doing these routines. So this is the vertical one. When that routine is finished, we will again load this value. And we'll compare it to, what's the top of the screen? It's like 3.0 or something like that. So if it's more than 3.0, we'll do nothing, we'll jump to the end. Otherwise, we will load 3.0 and store it in D001. And we need to do the same on the vertical, on the downwards motion. So the bottom of the screen is about F8 and the sprite is 21 high. So if we say E4 should be round about 20. So if it's less than that, we do nothing. Otherwise, we set it to E4. That should clamp vertically now. So left and right is quite similar. We're going to do the same again here. I'm going to copy that code I just done there for this bit. Oh. Can you make it run invalid opcodes on purpose? Yeah, in fact there are some illegal opcodes that actually do stuff that don't cause CPU jams, and they can be very, very useful. So they can do things, combinations of other opcodes quicker than you could do them individually. They can be quite useful. So we're going to load that value from here. We're going to check the edge of the screen, which is 1.8. If it's more than that, we'll do nothing. Otherwise, we'll grab 1.8, stick it in there, and do that. And then on the other side, it goes up to 344 before the sprite disappears off screen, which means we need to take 24 off that, which is 320. So we need to clamp 320 minus 256, which is 64. So we need to compare the same again here. We'll compare with this. If it's less than that, do nothing. Otherwise, store that value. Actually, we don't want to clamp the right edge of the sprite on the right edge of the screen. You actually want the sprite to almost go completely off the screen. So I'm going to actually add 20 to this. Because otherwise, if there's something right on the edge of the screen, you're not going to be able to click it because the point is off. So do that. Go. Where's the emulator gone? Cat hair in my face. Oh, I closed it. Don't know why I closed it. I'm really looking forward to the game this weekend because I think it's going to be the first time we'll actually be able to properly hit the enemies. So we're gonna implement the stun routine this weekend. There we go. It's locking to the top, locking to the bottom now. Probably want to move the sprite down a little bit on the bottom. I'm pretty sure if you move this fast enough, you'll be able to loop it round, but it seems quite hard to do at the moment. Yeah, it's going too far off the screen this way, so that's fine. It's going too far this way. That's fine. That needs lowering down. Okay, so let's just adjust these values a little bit. So it's going too far that way, so let's reduce that down by 8. I think on this side it's just going a little bit too far, so let's increase that by 4. The top seems kind of fine, although I will lower it slightly. Like so. And the bottom needs to go down quite a bit more, so let's do EC on those sides. This was a fun one to do actually, so I'm really grateful for this suggestion, Hayes. Very, very interesting game to have a play with. I'm really annoyed though that we couldn't get Supremacy working. Honestly, you should have seen the NTSC version. It was even worse than this. Oops. Where's my... oh, it's there. I'm clicking on all the wrong things. Yeah, the NTSC version had some weird kind of like direct sector loader, so the disk looked almost empty, but obviously it wasn't. But trying to work with that code would have been even worse, because I would assuming on top of that as well, it would have still had the compression as well. Okay, let's just check the edges on that now. That's a bit better. It's not quite going off the... that's kind of what you want on this side. You want to still see it. That's fine. That's fine as well. And the only other thing is this. There is some kind of clamp that needs to happen here, so it's scrolling too far. I'm assuming that doesn't happen normally. I wonder if that's because we're still trying to do the joystick routine. I wonder if we disable that routine. Okay, let me... actually, let's have a look. So... there doesn't seem to be anything that stops it going that way. It stops this way. This way it doesn't. But there is an edge. It's definitely hitting an edge. And that is two screens wide, and then after 2 screens it starts showing at 2/3 of the beginning again. But wrapped. You can see this line on the table is higher this time. So it's loading. We're allowing it to go too far to the right, basically. How do we stop it from doing that? So the joystick... well, the problem is the joystick is working left and right now. Let me turn the mouse off. Okay, mouse is off. No, the joystick does let us go over there. And then it breaks. Okay. Yeah, I think so. It just seems to be the right edge. I guess the left edge is always going to check 0. And it won't let it scroll that way, but there must be some check to the right for some reason. So, where was our code for right, which was... This was... Yeah, this was the right code, wasn't it? If it's equal to 0. So the one with 9728 on the end is our right code. So it's not that one, it's the next one. It's this one. So there is this other comparison here. 9A65. So let's go to that location and see what that's actually doing. So that's this value here. So if I put it on... Oops. Oh, I've got the breakpoints, haven't I? We turn these breakpoints off. Thank you for the follow, Amiga Bang. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, 4F is that edge of the screen, so we just need to check that. So we need to load that value. So where is it? This one here. Load commute at 9865, compare with 4F. And if it's... Now, do we... Again, because we're using the mouse, we may move more than that. So I think we should probably check if it's more than or equal to that. Then do nothing. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully that should do it. Can you make the finger the center of the cursor? I think the finger is the center of the cursor. I think that is the kind of point that the finger is the pressy thing. Pack that. Delete that one. This is such a, it feels like such an inefficient way to do this. So this is why you would have a linker set up as well. So there are tools available to do this sort of thing for you. In fact, when it comes to building a D64, you can actually do it from inside Sublime with KickAssembler. You can make KickAssembler do this for you. We could have extracted these, had them built into a D64, set up something, some kind of post. I think there's a plugin, there's a crunch plugin for Kick as well that allows you to crunch some code. So we could have all of this done automatically, but I'm just kind of rushing through this, trying not to waste too much time. I spent quite a lot of time messing around with Overlord today, and the first hour of this stream was basically banging my head against the wall trying to get that to work. So right, save that. I have no idea if this game is actually any good. I played... oh, I missed that follow. Thank you, Donny Gree, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm not hearing my alerts properly for some reason. I get some... I did hear Amiga Bangs, actually, but I've been missing quite a lot, so... I apologise, guys, if I've missed any of your follows or such. Okay, let's make sure... now it doesn't want to go over there at all. Okay. Seems we've hit boundary already. So let's go and have a look at that value in the debugger. So it's 4F now, but it seems like it's also 4F at some point over here as well. Ah, we do actually need to check directly if it is 4F, it looks like. Or is it that the F... Ah, there is this other value here. You see this 0, 1? This seems to be like the high byte of this value here. So we need to check if that is 0, 1. 9A66. So where's that code gone? This one here. So first of all we need to check 9A66, and if it's equal to 0 we can skip. If it's not equal to 0 it means we're over that side of the screen, so we can do it. This is such a painful way of doing this. I think I'm going to look into linkers. I don't really use them because I don't make intros, I don't do demos, I don't tend to do much multi-load stuff. Although Doc 2 is going to be multi-load, but I'm loading it from cartridge, so it really doesn't matter with that either. But I should probably look into it because I know that there are ways to make my life much easier than the way I'm doing this now. And I'm sure it would help with my games as well, to find ways to link all the levels together to build the cartridge image and do the compression and things like that instead of manually doing these things. Even if it just takes a couple of seconds off my build time, it's worth it, I guess. So I will look into that at some point, and then maybe in a future stream I'll go over how we use that and how we can kind of streamline the process a little bit. Okay. I've become an expert at loading this game. I have no idea how to play it though. Okay, let's turn the mouse on. Okay, I can't move over there at all now. So I've broken something. Let's have a look at this. So, oh, first of all, we should be doing it after. No, actually we shouldn't. Okay, so we need to load the screen edge value. Okay, that should probably be there for a start. No, I'm going to call that skip, and I'm going to put these to skip. So if 9A66 is 0, which it is at this point here, then we're over this side of the screen. As we go over this side, this value goes up, and then when it passes FF, then that goes to 1. So if this is equal to 0, then we should be skipping, which is correct. And if this, that should work. I don't know why that doesn't work. Let's give that a try. Maybe adding that label in there will be fine. So yeah, I think on the next Dissect next week we'll do a grab bag. So if anybody has any ideas of demos or effects, very specific effects in games that you want us to look at in the debugger, if you drop me a message on Discord, there should be a link to the Discord in the chat somewhere, but I'll drop a new one in. If you just drop some requests in there, and we'll see what we can do next week. We'll try and get through as many as we can. We won't try and change anything. We'll just try and explain how certain things are working. Don't always manage it. Sometimes things are difficult to understand, but I'll do my best to explain what's going on in some of these things, and hopefully inspire you guys to try out these effects yourselves. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game stream on Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to add a stun animation in, or just a stun effect basically, so you can shoot things. Are you skipping scrolling if the high bit is 0? Well, look. This is the only place that it does the scroll here, so once it gets down to this piece of code here, it's a valid place to, it's a valid time to scroll, so. But it does seem to be breaking it. So there is something weird going on. Let's have a look. If I get rid of that, it will work. Oh, wait a minute. This is checking. No, this is correct. Check if you're at the edge of the screen. If you are. So if the high bit is 0, then skip, yeah. Oh, wait. It needs to be if that and this, isn't it? That's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm doing this all wrong, aren't I? Okay, so let's put do scroll in here. So if the high bit is 0, then we definitely need to scroll. Otherwise, if the high bit is 0, if it's 1, then we need to check. And only if the value is higher than this, lower than this, sorry, do we do it. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I had the I was doing the wrong thing on the high bit. That's right. This is why it's good to do this stuff on stream. And this is why I'm enjoying doing the game as well, because it is a collaborative process, and there are a lot of times when I'm getting stuck on something, or can't quite figure out the right way to do it, and then somebody will just pop up in the stream and say, why don't you do it, try this way. And it's brilliant. I love it. We get so many good ideas out of it, and I learn a lot as well, and I'm sure people watching learn a lot from it as well. I really do enjoy doing it. Yes, load, speed up. It was already on fast. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Your current game is mouse only, trying to figure out how to add joystick support. That's an interesting situation to be in. It's usually the other way around, right? Oh, that scrolling's horrible. I don't think they really wanted you to scroll diagonally in this game. Because that's, I mean, I don't know if that's just because I'm moving quicker with the mouse, but... So should I be able to click that? I feel like I should be able to click that. I can click that. I feel like that should be clickable. Oh. Oh, what's that about? Shadow from the corridor. How do I mean, has anybody played this and can tell me what the hell to do? Because I have no idea. Oh, that advances time. Okay, my phone's ringing. Have you forgotten your appointment with the cabinet secretary? How do I do my appointments then? That? No. Oh, what's that? Okay. Oh, door. There we go. Okay. Let's go to another room. Oh. The cabinet secretary, so... That's the Home Secretary. Party headquarters, maybe. What? Apparently on the way home from the do last night, our beloved Trade Secretary was stopped for drunken driving. I'm not sure if the news is out yet. This is urgent. We need to act fast. As far as I can see, we can 1. Promote the constable to the rank of sergeant as part of a cover-up. Ask for Jerry's resignation. Let's cover it up. Take a Trump approach. For goodness sakes, keep your voice down, Jim. We don't mean cover up, we mean a full and frank internal investigation in which all relevant facts would be examined without presupposition. And thus with the consequent possibility that the conclusion may be reached that the evidence is lacking for a successful prosecution. Yeah, he means cover up. We'll call it a cover up. More to the point, would this cover up be possible but not desirable? Both possible and desirable. You're a Guardian reader. How do we go about it? Promoting the constable because of dedication to duty. I'm gonna quote, yes, let's promote him. Oh god, I have no idea what's going on here. I'm just gonna randomly press things. Can I go anywhere else? No. Okay, back to the office again. Lunch at the Carlton, meeting with party chairman. Okay, so I've got a lunch appointment in a minute. Diplomacy is about surviving until the end of the next century. Politics is about surviving until the end of this week. That seems to do some kind of reset action. Can't turn the light on and off. Oh, I've missed. Oh, I know that's the Irish Prime Minister. I only know that because of all the Brexit stuff that's been going on. Yeah, there we go. Blah blah blah. Don't really care. Is that an option? There's some innocent Irish people in Britain. Whatever. I want to go to another room, that's the whole point. Okay. Guess we just try again. I feel like a prisoner in my own office. I can't really do anything. Actually, can I skip to day 2? Okay. Hey, there we go, day 2. Speed that up. Oh, but this is just the same room, okay. Can I go and see anyone else though now? Oh, no. Is it all in the same room, or are there other screens? Because I thought I was going to go to other rooms, and this doesn't seem to be taking me to other rooms. Wow, there's a lot of reading to do in this game. Oh, look at this. We've got some junk at the bottom of the screen there. So we may have found an issue. Let's see if we can find out where that code actually is, where that text actually is. Can I search for just letters? No, I need to... Okay, I can search for... Or is it supposed to be like that? Because that's not in an area of memory that we're messing with, so... Looking at this, it's at C659, so... Oh, no, it is just... It's not code either, it is actually... Let's have a look, 371, it's this bit here. Yeah, it's not code, that's supposed to be like that, I guess. Fair enough. The problem is when you see something like that when you've been messing around in code, you immediately think you've broken something. I have a funny feeling there's no other screens. Ah, interesting. So this does actually have some joystick control. It's the only graphical. It looks like you don't ever leave that first room. Okay, so the only other thing I can see was that there was a little slider which we could probably add some joystick control into. However, it is getting quite late and I do have work tomorrow morning, so I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. As usual, I will upload this code. I'm just going to drop the folder as it is and into GitHub straight after this stream. And then on Saturday we'll pick the game up and do some work on our exciting game. I can't wait to do it. I really can't. I'm really quite excited about it. Why can't I close this? What the hell? Okay, let's find someone to have a raid.